For the moment, let's talk about what's happening on India's borders. For almost 2 years, India has been locked in a border conflict, a border standoff rather, with China. Beijing refuses to pull its soldiers back. It is mounting new military threats now. And these threats go well beyond India's land borders with China. Beijing is targeting the high seas. It is equipping Pakistan's Navy with advanced warships. Last week, Islamabad received a major delivery. China had delivered 4 modern frigates to Pakistan's Navy. These frigates have everything that Pakistan wished for: the latest missiles, anti-air weapons, and top electronic warfare systems. Islamabad made no attempts whatsoever to hide this acquisition. The Pakistani Navy shared a video, in fact, of the induction on social media. And they did not shy away from spelling out what these frigates were for. Pakistan says it is modernizing its navy to, quote-unquote, redress a conventional imbalance with India. That's what they're trying to fix, the imbalance with India. Needless to say, China is happy to help Pakistan in this. And it's not just giving frigates, but also equipping the Pakistan Navy with submarines. In February this year, the Pakistan government announced that it's getting 8 Chinese submarines. And China is not just sharing hardware, it is also sharing know-how with Pakistan. Last year, some satellite images came out. Warships from China were visiting Karachi, and a Pakistani submarine was parked right in the middle of these Chinese warships. What does that mean? A report says that it's possible that the Chinese were invited on board this Pakistani submarine. It is clear now. The high seas could be the next frontier for war. The world we live in depends heavily on shipping routes. And if you're an export-driven economy like China, you need presence in the high seas. But China's sharing of military hardware is a sinister move. China wants to militarize the seas, especially the waters around India. And it's not just Pakistan that is getting these Chinese submarines. China has also transferred technology to 2 other Indian neighbours, Myanmar and Bangladesh. Myanmar's military junta received a special delivery recently. Last week, a Chinese submarine was commissioned at a ceremony in Yangon. What can these submarines do? 2 things. 1, they can serve as a stopgap attack submarine, and 2, it can be used as a training vessel. Now, reports say the military junta made a secret deal with Beijing to acquire this sub. An official in the Myanmar military said this new submarine would allow them to, quote-unquote, engage in a 3-dimensional war. What about Bangladesh? 4 years ago, Dhaka too struck a deal with Beijing. It bought 2 submarines, Chinese submarines, for $203 million. The reasoning behind this acquisition was a familiar one. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said the submarines would upgrade the navy of Bangladesh and turn into a 3-dimensional force. Allow me to quote what Prime Minister Hasina told the Parliament of Bangladesh at the time. This is what she said. I believe that the decision of buying 2 submarines from China is related to the national interest of Bangladesh, and it won't create any negative reaction in the political arena in the outside world. Well, we're inclined to believe her. One country acquiring a Chinese weapon does not seem like a threat. But look at this map now. 3 Indian neighbours now have Chinese submarines: Pakistan, Myanmar and Bangladesh. Suddenly, India's backyard, India's neighbourhood, is looking far more dangerous. By sharing advanced weapons, China is basically recruiting more allies. It is trying to shift the regional balance so that when the time comes, it can control the Indian Ocean and the Bay of Bengal. The Chinese economy depends on these waters. Around 80% of China's oil is transported, or imported rather, through these sea routes, the Indian Ocean and the Malacca Strait. China doesn't control either, but it's working on it. India needs deft diplomacy. Unlike China's dead diplomacy, we need deft diplomacy to neutralize this growing threat. How India engages with its neighbours could very well decide how this battle for influence will shape up. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.